Good morning. I'm setting my clock now so you can hear a song that wasn't heard in the first service. So you know, as a speaker, you're in trouble when the music starts 2 minutes before service. So I'm going to get right to it, okay? Besides, I had to get off this thing about being a guest speaker because I realized I'm not a guest here. I'm home. I mean, I mean, I know quite a few of you. I mean, it's like, members of the choir and folks that I, sing with, the practitioners that I've gone and, people that I see, Claire. So I know most of all of you, so I'm really not a guest. But one thing I did do, I did park in the reserved parking space. Okay, I'm going to skip a part just to make sure we get it all in this time. So, but I want to find out how many guests do we have here this morning? Again, could you raise your hands? Okay. You, sir. Could you help me for a second? Come on. Oh, this gentleman right here, are you a guest? Oh, you're a guest? Okay, I need a guest. I really need a guest. Come on. Come on. I got a time thing now. Come on. Okay. How are you?
Good.
And your name?
Azam?
Azam.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Azam. Now, Azam, are you good with numbers? Are you good with math?
Kind of.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, I got a couple of questions. Just make sure this works for all of us. Okay, Azam, how much is 1 and 1?
2.
2. Okay, all right. We're going to make this a little bit more challenging because there's something I need for you to do for me. Azam, if A equals B and B equals C, is it true that A equals C?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You'll work. You'll be good. Now, all right. Here's what I want you to do. All right. I want you to make a simple observation, a deduction, just like you did.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, how many of you sitting out there have no idea what a spiritual mind treatment is? Or you have little understanding, or you have no idea what a spiritual mind treatment is? Raise your hands. Okay. So we got quite a few out there, right? All right. Now, this time, raise your hands if you know or have a really good idea if you know what a spiritual mind treatment is. Raise your hands up. High. Keep them up. What do you notice, Hassan? A lot. Okay, good. All right. Keep them up. Now, how many of you that know about a spiritual mind treatment have used one for yourself or for someone else and actually had a preferable or desired result? Raise the other hand. Keep it up. Now, Hassan, what conclusion could you make?
Double.
What?
Double.
So that means with all those hands out there, a lot of people know, thank you very much, a lot of people know that a spiritual mind treatment works. Yeah. Would you think so?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Give him a hand. I had to find a guess at the beginning because last time it didn't go that well. No, see, the reason that I wanted to do that, this is the science of mind, right? So we need to look at something real. So it would make no sense for me to talk about how to do a spiritual mind treatment if there was nothing to it. So I want you to understand the very first thing that I want you to understand about a spiritual mind treatment is that it works. It works. It's not not only, let's look at it this way. Raise your hands if you've ever prayed for something. Okay. Now, raise your hand if you actually had a prayer answered. So, I think it would be safe to conclude that there is a way in which you can relate to God, to spirit, to life in such a way that you can formulate the energy, the resonance, the vibration in your heart into words and speak into something, and that something actually produce what you just spoke. No? Unless all y'all were lying when you raised your hands. Now, you know, my daughter was working in Morocco, right? And she says, Dad, I go, how's it going? She goes, it's going great, except one thing. I go, what's that? And she goes, I'm calling to have you to pray. I'm like, okay, I can do this. She goes, it's been over 100 for the past several days. And our clients, our staff, they're going to be riding Campbell's to this event, right? And it would really be nice if it was cooler. So I'm like, okay, not a problem. There is no difference in conditions. All conditions are the same in relationship to God. There is no big condition. There is no small condition. They're all the same. So, therefore, it doesn't matter what it is. I am aware, I am conscious, I know that there is a power in the universe, and I'm asserting that I'm not the only one that knows this, given the amount of hands that just went up, that there's a power in the universe for good that I can use. That there's a power in the universe for good that I can use. Now, I don't know about you, but my mind, the first thing that happens is, a power in the universe for good that I can use? Well, what about all the bad stuff? Well, what about what's happening around the world? What about all the starvation? What about all the, what about the politics? What about, and it goes on and on and on. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's the first step down. That is the first step. That is the first step away from using the fullness of the power that you can use. Because really, Spirit God is not necessarily interested in the condition, only except to change and align it in something that is congruent that you would like to have for your life, or you would not pray. Now, how many of you prayed? You prayed in some shape, form, or fashion, and you prayed for something bad. Anybody? Anybody ever prayed for, dear God, I want a broken leg? No, I mean, it presupposes there's a reality that that is in you, that is of you, that you know of deep in your being. That there is a good in life and you want to experience it. I think that's why we keep coming back. We keep doing what we're doing. We keep practicing what we practice because there is a good in life that we know of that we do want to experience. So the thing is, let's have it. I mean, let's have all of it. And so a spiritual mind treatment is a prayer that we use here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, that we use. It's a form of prayer. And it's a beautiful form, and I'm not going to go through. Did I leave my clicker on that thing? Okay. All right. While my clicker's coming, or if it's coming, we won't need a clicker. All right. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Oh. See, this is just perfect. Seriously, that is perfect, because if there's anything that I thought about in this entire time, for the last 6 to 8 months of preparing for this service, The one thing that I realize that has come up for me is how often is what I need or what I desire is present right before me and I don't know it. No, think about it. Think about it for a second. Think about some time or some situation or some condition that you are going through, just like you're going, ta-da! And all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's right there. Anybody besides me? Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is explain to how to give a spiritual mind treatment. Now, I love that. The 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. Now, in this philosophy, we use 5 steps. I actually just finished, along with some other people out there, just finished a class on the basic principles of science of mind around spiritual mind treatments. And in that particular study, there were 7 steps. So it's not really about the steps, and it's not really about the form, and you'll see why in a minute, like you're a part into it. But we're going to go through the 5 steps that we use here. And I'm going to toss something in that I want you to consider to understand about the form, and that is spirit expresses itself through form. Like, how many of you know who Stephen Curry is? Right? Now, you know who Stephen Curry is. You know who Stephen Curry is. Now, the one thing about Stephen Curry is that he is one of the best shooters ever. Why? Because he has been trained in the form of shooting a basketball. His father was an NBA basketball player. So in college, Stephen Curry's dad said, hey, Steph, we are going to totally wipe out the form that you've been using, and we're going to retrain you in a form to even make you better. Now, when you watch Stephen Curry, do you see the form? You don't see the form, you see the expression of the form. It's like, oh my gosh, look at the guy, he's so talented, he's so gifted. Yes, he is, but look at his participation in how he engages his form every day. Every day. He goes back to the basics, back to principle, back to the form, such that when it comes time in the third quarter, when the Warriors are 20 points behind, that he's not having to worry about where his elbow is. He can give himself to what's present at that time. The same way with the spiritual mind treatment. So we're going to go through this. First of all, step 1, recognition. Now, recognition. This step is you recognizing who or what source is for you. That you identify from your being, from your essence, from what's inside of you, who God is for you. Because no one else can do that. It's people you can read, people you can be told, you can talk about, but no one knows that communion between you and God like you know it. You can somewhat describe it to someone else, but that experience of your relationship to your relationship, your understanding, your experience, your inside of what divinity is for you is personal to you. It's personal to you. Why is it personal to you? It's because spirit can only express through you the way it expresses through you. How many of you have ever seen an identical sunrise? Anybody ever seen an identical sunset? How about this? Look at somebody else in this room. Just look at them. Just look at them. Look, go ahead and look at them. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because basically what you just looked at is something similar to a sunrise. Because what you just looked at what spirit is expressing in form, you will never, ever, ever, ever see anyplace else. If you had the ability to go back somewhere towards the beginning of infinity and go to all the way to the other end of infinity, almost to the other end of infinity, if you had that ability, that person that you just looked at, you would never see that expression, that vibrancy, that life, that love, that beingness ever, any place. So when it comes to you recognizing who God is, it's personal to you. And I can't tell you how to do you. You know how to do that. You know what it is. You read, you study, you pray, you talk, you do your thing with spirit, with the divine, in the way that you do it. So the very first part of this prayer, the very first step is you allowing you to recognize who God is for you. What is it for you? Now, once that's down, oh, I got to put this in before recognition. My son, he loves to snowboard. Not snow ski, Dad, snowboard. But the wonderful thing is, it's like when he describes what it is for him snowboarding, it sounds as if he's describing divinity. He's like, Dad, you have no idea what it's like to be on the top of that mountain early in the morning, and that snow is powder, and it's nice and clean, and it's crisp, and the wind, and it's quiet, and I'm just going down that hill, and the exhilaration is like, pray for me now. Pray for me. I mean, if you can pray from that place, pray for me now. But not only just he described, but the energy, the feeling behind it, he allowed to be in it. Step 2, unification. Now, unification. I am going to say, unification, what is being unified is your awareness that you are one with the ultimate creator of life. Not that you are over here and God is over here and what you're doing is you're unifying with God. No. How come? Because there's only one. And there is never any time. It's virtually, well, not virtually, it is impossible. There is no time, whether I'm aware of it or not, that I am separated from source. I might not be conscious of it. I might not be aware of it, but I am never Okay. I am never separated. I am never separated from my source, even now. I'm not. I mean, how can I go wrong being inside the First Church of Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself? So really, it's about you bringing your consciousness, your awareness back home, back to who you really are, back to who you've been created to be. It's really about coming home. It's really about being sane, of recognizing or understanding, relating to who you really are. What's so beautiful is this next thing, the children's ministry prayer. I mean, look at that. You know, because at some level, you know, we've been trained in, you know, like a universal human consciousness. We've been trained by our parents. We've been trained by our society. We've been trained by our teachers. We've been trained by our race. We've been trained by our gender. We've been trained to think certain things. And I'm going to assert most of those things that we've been trained to think are not grounded in who God has created us to be. But just imagine, we have kids now in the ministry, and you know what they're doing? God is life, I am life. God is love, I am love. God is light, I am steps 1 and step 2. God is power, I am power. God is peace, I am peace. God is beauty, I am beauty. God is joy, I am joy. All that God is, I am. Now imagine that being entrenched in a young person's mind at 5 or 6. What do you think is going to happen when he runs into the bumps of life? You think it's going to pop up in his head that he can go back to? How many of you have certain things that you go back to when things get difficult? Prayers, verses. I'm going to tell you something. I double dog dare you. Take that prayer. You want to see something? I don't know what you're going to see, but take that prayer, rehearse that prayer. Like, do it for the next 7 days, 2 times a day. See what happens in your life. Okay, tower's not standing yet. I'm doing good. So, realization. Ooh, we got to get to this. Realization is actually what it says. It is realizing something. I am making something real. I am realizing something. Now, let me ask you this. What am I realizing? Now, if I recognize who God is, for me, I am aware that I am conscious that I am an expression of who God is. When I am in that place, what is needed and wanted at that point? When I'm in that place, what's needed and wanted at that point? Nothing. I'm cool. Just like the affirmation, God is, I am, all's well. I'm cool. So what do I declare? What is it that wants to be expressed through you? What is it that you want to have unfold in your life that's congruent with who you know you are as an expression of God? What is it? How is it that you want your light to shine in the world? Declare that. Declare that. Because I'm declaring from a place of being grounded and locked in of who I am of God. I'm not asking for something to become something or to be somebody. That part of me is already settled. So what I am realizing, what I'm calling forth, what I am speaking into, what I'm speaking into is that my heart's desire, that I long for, that I would like to see unfold in my life, that would bless and serve. So I realize that. Now, in the process of realizing that, I'm going to state what I would like to see occur. But I'm going to put some spaciousness around it. The reason I'm going to put some spaciousness around it because there's a verse that runs in the back of my mind that says, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you could ask or think. So what that says to me, that spirit, life, the universe, God, there is an intention of spirit designed in order to bless and to serve your life beyond what you could possibly think. Beyond, it's like Jesus says, consider the lilies of the field. They don't work, they're clothed. Consider the birds of the air. They toil not, they don't gather in the barns. Your heavenly Father takes care of them. How much more than you? It's not about you being compared to a plant or you being compared to a bird. It's about the communication of the power that is accessible to you. That there is an intention of life to provide for you. But universal consciousness has taught us totally different. We got to go out there and make it on our own. But what if we were to consider from the perspective before we did anything that life was for me? That life in itself is intrinsically designed for my highest good, so much so that it is able to go beyond that I could possibly imagine. What do you think? Okay. So now we can get to step 4. Thanksgiving. Close your eyes. I want you to, what's the word? Have a palpable experience of Thanksgiving. Eyes closed. Now, bring to consciousness something or someone that you are thankful for. Now, bring to mind something else that you're to consciousness that you're grateful, you're thankful for. Now bring to mind one more thing that you're thankful and grateful for. Okay, now open your eyes. Okay, now from up here, y'all can't see this, but it's just like looking out, you can see all these smiles just started popping up all over the place, right? So in Thanksgiving, that's the energy, that's the resonation that you're after, that particular vibration, that right there. And what I am allowing myself to experience in thanks and gratitude and rejoicing for is this shift of consciousness where I turned away from a condition and I'm working this thing right now. This thing is real for me right. In other words, it's a practice of faith, calling those things that are not as if they were so. Now, faith is the evidence that the things are yours actually before they are produced. In other words, it's like a title deed. I think this is like, faith is the title deed of things prayed for, the evidence that they're yours before they're seen. Like having a house in another state that you just bought. You can't see the house. You can't walk in the house. But you know that house is yours. You have the title deed. That house is, your faith is the same way. It may not be in form yet, but guess what? Everything happens in consciousness first anyway before it takes form. So why not be in gratitude and thankfulness at the first part of creation? Why not? Step 5, and Tara's not standing up. Now, this step, I'm going to say a little bit more about this step. This step is the release step. I could just go, I'm done, and I'm done. When I've gotten through declaring, because when I speak my word, it's basically, I'm kind of like a architect. And I speak my word, and when I speak my word as an architect, I give it to the law, the builder, that part of God that does what it does without question. Like if I'm building a house, I say, Mr. Builder, I want my bathroom in the center of the garage, and I want my bedroom on the other side, and I'd like to have my living room like 500 yards from the rest of the house. The law builder will say, okay, boo-boo, not a problem. Be it unto you according to your word. And it produces. Now, I'm saying when I speak, I am speaking my word with that confidence, with that thankfulness, and I am leaving that word, I'm releasing that word into that of God, which brings it into form, right? So what do I do afterwards? What do I do? Now, when I say I'm done, I'm done. I mean, when you're like, now think about it. The energy is like, when I'm done with this, I'm done. Anybody got to a place of like, I'm tired of being tired. I'm done with this. This ain't happening no more. Raise your hand. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Like you've spoken your word. You're complete with that word. Once you're complete, you're totally complete with that word. You don't go, it's like a farmer, you don't go back and it's like, I put some potato seeds. Let me go and see if this potato seed is growing. I don't see nothing. No, 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 no. No, you leave it there and you move in congruency with that which you have declared. You move and you do what you just like when the potato farmer puts his seed in there. He has faith that the potato is going to come up. He doesn't go back and check and just see if it's. He knows that the dirt is going to do what the dirt's going to do. He knows that. But what does he do to be in congruent with his word? I want potatoes. What does he do? He may water his dirt. He may make sure that the place likes a lot of sunshine. He may put nutrients in his dirt. He may, but you know what? He ain't making the potato become a potato. That's the work of the soil. We're not, actually, this is the cool part. Because like when we do this, we ourselves are not actually doing anything but declaring. She stood up. So, to be done, I want to say that you, at some level, we're talking about the form, but you at some level already are in a conversation of recognizing, realizing, expressing that there's a power in this universe and that you can use it.